24 to order. Before we move into the meeting, I'd like to ask our city attorney to report out on our closed session, if you don't mind.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The council was briefed on the one item of conference with real property negotiator and adjourned at approximately 7:37 p.m. I'd also like to just make note for the public, Council Member Sternquist is appearing remotely tonight pursuant to Assembly Bill 2449, which allows a member of a legislative body or commission to appear remotely for two types of absences, just cause or emergency circumstance. In this case, the emergency circumstance was a medical issue that requires her to be off her feet for a period of 10 days. This is her first absence and remote attendance under AB 2449 for calendar year 2024. Due to her remote appearance, all votes will be made by roll call vote tonight, and she will be keeping her camera and
I can't hear, Greg.
she will be keeping her camera and microphone on. Can you hear now?
Can you hear us, Cindy?
Are you able to hear now?
I'll take that as a no.
Okay, we're going to pause for a moment while we work out the tech.
Technology is so great when it
I
works, huh?
can't hear Greg though.
And then once we work out the tech, we can move to roll call. Thank you. Council member, can you hear now?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Yay, ready to go. Okay. We will then begin with roll call. Madam Clerk?
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Chen?
Here.
Councilmember Mann?
Here.
Councilmember Sternquist?
Here?
Mayor Pro Tem Yu?
Here.
Mayor Chavez?
Here. Okay, moving on to item number 3. I'm pleased to welcome back Pastor Kelty from the Community of Christ Church, who will provide the invocation for us this evening. So if everyone will please rise and remain standing after the invocation for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I can't.
Our heavenly Creator, who is the source of all things good, we, a few of your children, would come into your presence today to ask of your ever-present Spirit to be with this council and those here gathered, that we might open our minds to your Spirit, in order we may make this a better city and do those things that would be both present and future benefit this city and the community as a whole. We would pray also for all of the staff, that they might have the wisdom to do their individual tasks with the diligence that would allow both council and staff to work in harmony, thus making Temple City a place to be proud of. And finally, for all the audience here gathered, that they too make, through their individual and corporate efforts, leave this city a better place for future generations. For this we thank you, and amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Kelty. And if everyone will please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
Unto the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
under God,
indivisible, with
liberty and justice for all.
That must be the 5-second delay.
Think so.
Okay. All right, we will now move on to item number 5, ceremonial matters. Unfortunately, there are none this evening, so we always like those ceremonial matters, but we're taking the week off for that. Maybe next meeting. Okay, we'll now move to item 6, public comments on items not listed on the agenda. City Council will now hear public comments regarding items that are not listed on the agenda. The procedure to address the City Council is highlighted on the first page of this agenda. I do have one speaker request form from Susie Powell Rutherford. So Susie, you want to come on up and...
Hi, thank you for having me here today.
Sure.
My name is Susie Powell Rutherford. I am the lead of American Cancer Society Relay for Life of Santa Anita Park. It is, excuse me, an annual 24-hour fundraising event that we have to raise money to fight cancer. So I'm here to let the public know that it is a public event, that anyone is invited to come. And I'm here also to invite all of you to come. I don't know if any of you are cancer survivors or not, but if you are, I would love to honor you at our event. It is going to be August 24th, 25th from 11 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the infield of Santa Anita Park Racetrack. Everyone should have a flyer there. It does have my name, my email address, and my telephone number there. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to contact me anytime. I know I've seen you before at the Temple City Relay. Temple City is not having a relay this year, so I've incorporated Temple City in our relay as well. So that's also why I'm here today too. So we open up the event with the survivors. We honor them. We have a luncheon. There's goodies for them. So if you know anybody, the information is all there in your flyers. At 9 o'clock, there is a luminaria ceremony where we remember those that we've lost. And we have luminaria bags that we place around the track. So it's a very moving ceremony. Throughout the day, we have entertainment, there's games, there's booths, a lot of fun going on. So I'm just here to invite you all and to just let the public know that anyone is welcome to come.
And so will they be spending the night there then, the participants?
We do.
Will
The participants can, absolutely, yeah. Yeah,
Okay, so
our
they bring
booths,
tents and stuff? And,
we say there, yeah, we have movies at like 10 o'clock. There's some other games and things going on in the night, but we walk. Basically, the idea is we who are part of it are walking the whole 24 hours.
24 hours, yeah.
Yeah, so, and then in the morning, we have pancake breakfast at 7 o'clock. You're welcome to come for that. And so, yeah.
Great. Sounds like a great event. Thank you for picking that up as well.
Thank you.
Actually, I did not know we were not having a Relay for Life this year.
Yes, so I'm not sure what the future holds with that, but
Okay.
I've incorporated Temple City in with us. So we're kind of Monrovia, DeWarty, Arcadia, Temple City, and
Thank you
any
for
other
doing that.
cities. Thank you.
I'm assuming there'll be no horses racing at that?
There
on
will
that
be
day?
no horses racing
okay.
that day. They probably will be training at 4 o'clock in the morning, which
there
is
you go.
awesome to see,
Oh,
especially
yeah,
when
because you'll be right there.
we're
in the
tired and
infield.
we're walking and you hear that, and that gives you your second wind to keep going until the rest of the day.
Nice, well, very nice.
So, yeah,
Well-
so there is a sponsorship packet
Yeah, I have that
somewhere,
up here.
if anybody's
Yeah.
interested in that,
Okay, great.
and all my information is there.
Well, thank you for coming this
Thank
evening.
you very
and,
much.
For giving us that great information.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, we'll see you in August.
Thank you.
All right, thank
I
you.
hope so, too.
All right. Okay, are there anyone else that would like to speak at this time? Seeing no one, I will close public comments, and we will now move on to item number 7, our consent calendar. All consent calendar items may be approved in a single motion as recommended unless removed for further discussion. Does anybody wish to remove any items from the consent calendar? If not, I will entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the consent calendar.
Thank you.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. If we could have roll call, please, Madam Clerk?
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Chen?
Yes.
Councilmember Mann?
Yes.
Councilmember Sternquist?
Yes,
Mayor Pro Tem Yu?
Yes.
Mayor Chavez?
Yes. Okay, and I just want to mention that we do have representatives from World Journal here this evening, so thank you for coming, and we look forward with partnering with you for another year. Okay, thank you. Okay, let's flip the page here. We will now move on to, man, there was a lot of consent calendars this evening.
Yep.
Item 8, public hearing. Adoption of resolution number 24-5750, ordering the levy of citywide lighting and maintenance district assessments for fiscal year 24-25. Who's going to take that first?
I'll take it first, Mayor.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Chavez and members of the council. The next 4 public hearings you have are all budget related. The first one is for the adoption of the ordering of the levy of the Landscape and Lighting District. The city has had that Landscape and Lighting District for many decades. This just allows us to put it on the tax roll. We've already done the engineer's report, and we just ask you to open the public hearing, adopt the resolution, and we can send that off to LA County tax collector.
Okay, I think we're going to have a presentation from Susan.
No presentation for this one.
presentation. Okay. All right. So, do we have any questions from council? None?
Mayor, just a simple clarification question. The assessment is the same as before?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Yes, the assessment is the same as it has been for many decades. Any adjustment to the assessment would require a Prop 218 election. Thank you for pointing that out. And this assessment has stayed the same for many decades.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, then I will open public hearing. Anyone in the audience wish to speak on this matter? Say now or forever hold your peace. Oh, that's for the wedding, I think. All right. We'll close public hearing. No need for a motion to close. So any final council comments or questions? Hearing none, I will now consider a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we receive the presentation. Well, actually, I should move that we adopt resolution number 24-5750, ordering the levy and collection of assessments for fiscal year 24-25.
Thank you.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. If we could have a roll call, please.
Councilmember Chen?
Yes.
Councilmember Mann?
Yes.
Councilmember Sternquist?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Yu?
Yes.
Mayor Chavez?
Yes. All right, thank you very much. That motion carries. So we will now move on to the adoption of resolution number 24-5752, approving the master fees and fines schedule for fiscal year 2024-2025.
Thank you, Mayor Chavez and members of the council. Susan Pagadas, our admin services and city treasurer, will provide a update. One item I wanted to note is that we are making a adjustment to the fines related to short-term rentals, going from the first offense at $1,500 to the second offense within a 12-month period to $3,000, and the third offense within a 12-month period to $5,000. Every subsequent fine after that would be at $5,000. So if there's a fourth, a fifth, a sixth, within that same time frame, that's or within that same case would just repeatedly go up by five. It would only be $5,000 per. So we are trying to make a real effort to send a signal that short-term rentals are not what we want to have in the community. So I just wanted to point that one out. So that's a pretty substantial adjustment that we've made to our fee and fine schedule this year. But with that, I'll turn it over to Susan.
Okay. Go ahead, Susan.
Good evening, Mayor and council members.
Good evening.
So this is our annual adoption of the master fees and fines schedule. Sorry, need to move this slide. So tonight, the City Council is requested to open the public hearing, receive any input, close the public hearing, and adopt Resolution 24-5752, approving the master fees and fine schedule for fiscal year 2024-2025. So the main highlights of the proposed schedule is that we are increasing by 4%, which is a CPI from March 2023 to March 2024 for the applicable fees. Some of the notable increases are in business license, increasing up to $24 for fees, and then for processing fees up to $22. We've got the planning service fees, which would take 60 days from approval, but various fees ranging up to all the way to $203, so depending on the type of service. Next is public safety fees. All the event permits, street banners, street closures range from $18 to $26. And this is the new fee that the city manager was explaining. So as you can see, the first offense is $1,500. Second, within a 12-month period, is $3,000, and then a third offense within a 12-month period is $5,000. So tonight, it's the recommendation is for City Council to open the public hearing, receive the input, close the public hearing, and adopt Resolution 245752, approving the new master fees and fine schedule for fiscal year 2024 and 2025.
Okay. Does that conclude your report?
That concludes my report.
Thank you. Okay, then I will then entertain any council questions at this time. Anybody have any questions?
Mayor Chavez, I do
ahead.
have one. Just to clarify the short-term rental fine. So this 12-month period is the reference point is the first initial offense?
That's correct.
So so basically 1 year after, this resets, and if they continue to do it, it restarts at the 1,500 mark.
I'll let Mr. Reamer speak to that, but I believe that's the case.
Yes, sir. I would generally say, though, that's a very rare instance to occur.
Okay. Okay.
So it's not based on a calendar year or anything like that.
No, it would be 12 months from
the first offense.
Yes,
First
sir.
offense.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay. Any other questions? Cynthia, you still there?
I'm here, no questions.
Okay.
Thank you.
I can't see you, so I forget about you. Sorry about that. I'll have to make a note to myself.
That's okay.
Just chime in whenever you want. Okay, hold on.
Thank you.
Mayor,
Vince, go
may I
ahead.
ask a theoretical question?
Of
Let's say
course.
just on this short-term rental. There's no requirement or restrictions on how often you give them the penalty, right? Let's say we issue the first citation and there's 1,500. What's the how much time they have to pay it, and when would we not give them another one?
So the general rule is that we can write a fine for every day that they're out of compliance. However, the city prosecutor's office has informed us that we have to give the people at least time to correct the violation.
Right.
So that's the direction we have.
And that's like, I mean, there's no definitive number.
Right,
2-3
depending on
weeks,
the
30 days or whatever.
Probably just
yeah.
depending on the
Reasonable time.
violation, we have to, like, if it's to mow the lawn, we might give them a weekend or maybe 2 weekends to get it done. If it's something like just removing some junk and debris, we might give them 72 hours. If it's for construction, then we have to give them more time to.
But
But how
specific,
about for this one?
For short-term rental, we probably would give them a week or a few days to
okay,
take down the advertisement. You know.
okay. Thank you.
Okay, if there are no more questions from council, I will then open up public hearing on this matter. Does anyone in the audience wish to speak? Jerry, you're getting up, so I'll wait till you get to the podium. Oh, shoot. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, and
Good
Mayor
evening.
Pro Tem. I have a question. For at least 25 years, I've always thought that our business license fees were too low and that they should be raised. And I've always been told that it would take a vote at an election to increase them. And I'm wondering, and I'm seeing the up to $24 increase tonight, and I'm wondering what happened.
I don't believe it requires a vote, but I could be wrong on that.
Yeah,
Did you
but
want to comment on that quickly?
Sure. A business license tax would require a vote. A business license fee for the recovery of services does not require a vote. There just has to be a nexus between the service provided and the cost that we're charging.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, just one more short question.
Sure.
what percentage of businesses would this increase affect? Is it just some businesses?
It would be, I believe it's all of them.
All of them?
Yeah, I don't think we single out any.
No, we
any one type
cannot
of
discriminate.
business.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And just for context, I can tell you that Pasadena,
Whole
Pretty
lot
high.
more.
a lot more.
Yes.
Okay.
Almost every other city is a whole lot more.
Yes, you're right. All right, thank you. Any other public comments? Seeing none, I will close public comment. And this is a time for any final questions or comments by any council members. Does anyone have anything to say? Cynthia, are you okay?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
Okay.
Just
William, go
one
ahead.
quick question for our city manager. So the nexus between the permit and what the permit is doing, that has to be done through a internal study?
Yes.
Is that how it works?
Yes.
Like if we're trying to theoretically raise something, then we'd have to say, well, the amount of labor or staff hours it takes to process a certain item has gone up?
Correct. And generally speaking, yes. So you can adjust by cost of living increase across the board for all your fees. And that's a defensible increase in cost. If you're going well above and beyond that, or there were other costs that you needed to demonstrate that were part of the processing of that fee, then that's what you would have to demonstrate. You say, for example, we had to buy a whole bunch of new software or something to that effect, or we had to hire new staff to do some regulatory function that required a permit. There we would have to justify that to use the council to say, here's generally the cost, the cost analysis of that, here's how much that cost is, and here's how much the fee would be correspondingly.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? I just have a couple of quick ones. You know, we do this every year, obviously, and, you know, to me, it's almost like a necessary evil. But I do appreciate the fact that staff really does look at these carefully. And the fees, and I want everyone to realize, the fees are not intended to be a profit maker for the city or making any money. I mean, our costs go up every year, and we try to make sure that that we stay even with that. And so I think, in looking at the different, and there's so many of them that are out there, that in looking at them, most of them were nominal fees. Of course, I guess it's all relative, but I think they're all pretty fair, other than the ones pointed out earlier regarding not talking Airbnb.
Short-term rental.
Short-term rentals. So, which obviously we're trying to get a handle on. But for me, many of the fees that dealt with community services, those that cater to our youth, I was happy to see that many of them are remaining the same or very small increases. And so, and I think that has always been something that we as a council have tried to keep a handle on, and I'm glad to see that we're still doing that, because we try to make a lot of those programs as affordable as we can for those who need to pay for them. And so, so that's the good news. So with that, I will now entertain a motion.
Mayor Chavez, I'll move that we adopt resolution number 24-5752, approving the master fees and fines schedule for fiscal year 2024-2025.
Second.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Chen?
Yes.
Councilmember Mann?
Yes.
Councilmember Sternquist?
Yes?
Mayor Pro Tem Yu?
Yes.
Mayor Chavez?
Yes. Okay, that motion is approved unanimously. We will now move on to item C, the adoption of the proposed budget for fiscal year 2024-2025. We now will see how we can pay for all of this.
So, thank you, Mayor Chavez and members of the council. Before our Administrative Services and City Treasurer begins her presentation, I'd just like to thank the entire staff, the executive team, all the directors, the city clerk, and the finance staff for all of their work in presenting this balanced budget with a modest surplus to you to do for you. We've gone through several deliberation, a very extensive study session to bring forward to you. There are a few changes from the study session to now that was discussed during the budget discussion, and one other that we'll point out. And lastly, and sadly, this will be the last budget that our Admin Services Director presents, as she is moving on from the city to the city of Europa Valley after this year. So we will miss Susan and thank her for her stewardship, her constant leadership and presence. Part of the reason why we are in this position today is the authority that you give us, but also to the fiduciary responsibility that Susan exemplifies in her day-to-day work, and we will miss her. So I'll turn it over to Susan.
And before you start, I'm glad you said that, because I wanted to say something as well, but I wasn't sure if I should. But I echo those words, and I know everyone on council is going to miss you, and certainly we appreciate. How many years has it been now? 6 years. Well, time flies, doesn't it? Well, we certainly wish you the best, and we know you will do well in your new area, and so, but we will always appreciate what you've done here for us. So thank you very much. So with that, I will turn it over to you.
Again, Mayor and council members, tonight is a budget adoption, proposed budget adoption for the fiscal year 2024-2025. And tonight we're recommending, recommending the City Council to open the public hearing, receive any input, close the public hearing, provide any additional direction or additions or deletions, if you wish, for the fiscal year 24-25 budgets and CIP, and approve resolution number 245753, which includes also adopting any changes you make tonight. And then the last one is to review and approve any updates, which we don't have any, to the general fund reserve classifications. So the general fund summary for next year's budget equates to almost $19.1 million in operating revenues with an expenditure of almost $15.3 million. However, we also have one-time and CIP expenditures of just under $3.4 million, which results in an estimated surplus of $515,000 for the year. So the budget highlights for the general fund is that we have another balanced budget. We preserve all the city programs and services. We have now full programming of our parks and recreation programs. We don't have any new positions or are proposing additional staff positions. And the budget includes the final year of the COLAs for our bargaining unit. And then, of course, the estimated surplus of $515,000. The additions from our study session include a $12,000 Historical Society facilities use budget that we had omitted, and then an AI study or analysis for the city of $30,000. And then we're also adding 3 new parking permit machines that we'll be installing around the city for $45,000.
Excuse me, do we know where those are going to be located at this time, or?
One at City Hall, one at Live Oak Park, and where is the third?
Sheriff's Station. Sheriff's
No,
Station.
the one at the Sheriff's Station.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
So for our fund balance estimate, we're estimating an ending fund balance on June 30, 2025 of just under $27 million at $26.8 million. Now, the classification which is required by GASB every year is you have to approve our fund balance classification. Of that $26.8 million, we have $3.5 million committed, and that includes anything from local economic uncertainties, any emergencies, just any, and liquidity. And then we have an assigned $11.3 million for miscellaneous projects that's been reserved for. And then our estimated unassigned for that year is $12 million. which you can use for anything that council wishes. Oh, there we go. Sorry. Now the citywide budget, we're looking at $31.5 million of expenditures. As you can see, general fund is almost 18.7. We have special revenue funds, which include your Proposition A and C, our measures like Measure W, Measure R, all those special revenue funds at $12.8 million. Again, in total, it's $31.5 million is what we're looking to approve for tonight. There is one item that was added after a study session. We have a city share for the traffic signal synchronization with the county. Our share is estimated to be $284,000, and this can be paid out of our Prop C monies.
Very briefly, so that is actually, the County of Los Angeles is actually doing a traffic signalization a project between Arcadia, Temple City, and St. Gabriel. I will actually be bringing forward to you a MOU for that on the meeting of July 16th. But this is the estimated share of that project.
Oh, okay, so this is what we were thinking.
This is what the estimated share would be.
Will that include all the traffic signals, or just the main thoroughfares? Or?
It will be the main thoroughfare, primarily with San Gabriel and us, the synchronization of the lights along Las Tunas. Sorry, this brought.
So that'll be the main.
That'll be the main area. The main portion of this is paid for, split between unincorporated LA County, right, San Gabriel, Temple City, and we're paying a lesser share than San Gabriel would be.
Is this a?
Go ahead. Yeah, of course.
Is this a one-time project?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Yes, this would be this is a one-time project from the county, countywide.
Thank you.
Meaning that they don't do it very often.
No, these upgrades of the signalization of the equipment and the technology itself would be one time in terms of the equipment costs and everything else. Once that's done, we're paying our regular operating costs for maintaining it all the way through.
Because I know every town, then we have to tweak it or have somebody come and take a look at it. Okay, great, thank you. All right, are there any, I'm sorry, you're not done.
We're almost done.
Okay.
So just want to go over our capital improvement projects for 24-25. We have actually two projects going on in 24-25. One is a rollover from this current year. The original funding for that was $7 million, and we're expecting to spend within June 30 about half of that, $3.5 million. So we're rolling over the balance of that. And then we have new funding for new pavement management project of $5 million. So in total, the roll for budget for 24-25 is $8.5 million. However, the council had approved the $7 million, and then now we're requesting another $5 million for next fiscal year.
And just one thing to point out about that pavement management, that will be expending essentially all of our fund balances for all of our pavement management projects for many, many years to come. So we are doing a lot of things out in the field, but that will be the last project we will see for many, many years because this is the accumulation of the fund balances that we were able to have. So just to let you know that we will not be seeing projects of this size with the existing funding sources that we have.
But that's the key with the existing funding sources. If we
yes, sir.
Look into any new ones, then that could change.
That could change.
All right.
And then we have the continued playground renovation. As you've seen, the Temple City playground's beautiful. It's being used. I see children every day utilizing the playground. This one will be for the Live Oak Park equipment. At $3.3 million is what we're rolling over. And then the City Hall roof and HVAC project is, we've spent a little bit this year, but we're looking to roll over $3.37 million of that. And then lastly, the Las Tunas Drive improvements, we're rolling over $2.38 million with a total budget of $3.4 million.
And for the Las Tunas project, on tonight's consent calendar, you passed many of the contracts and the purchase orders for us to do several of the improvements, including the pavers, the painting of the lights of the street poles. A lot of that is being spent, or at least was contractually obligated tonight on the consent calendar.
And with that short presentation, we're recommending that the City Council open a public hearing, receive the input, close the public hearing, provide direction, if any, and then approve Resolution 245753 with the current proposed budget or with any changes the council would like to wish to add, and then review and approve the updates to the general fund reserve classifications.
Okay, thank you very much. So I will open with any council questions. Mayor Pro Tem, you?
I just have one, and which is, I believe we have constituents asking about what we have in the art funding. So perhaps.
Sure.
You can share
Thank
that.
you. Sorry, I neglected that. We do have fund balances in our public art fund. That's unallocated fund balance of about $76,000 right now, approximately. So there is still funding. If in the future there are art projects that are out there that the community comes back with or others come back with, there is funding. There is funding that's still out there.
I'm sorry, you said art fund, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we don't currently have any kind of art committee or anything like that at this point, correct?
No,
maybe kind of an
you've created an
informal-
ad hoc in the past.
Yeah.
Mayor Pro Tem, you and former council member Vizcarra were part of that ad hoc with some other community members. So when a project does come up, and for example, Primrose Park, which we just completed the last two public art elements of the park, that's when we usually bring those forward.
The reason I ask, I'm just wondering, just along that thing, how would one go about if someone was interested in doing an art project in the city? Would they come to us and then we would form another ad hoc? Or
your current ordinance, your Parks and Recreation Commission is the first kind of go-to on public art. So they if there was interested parties of maybe doing some types of public art, the Parks and Recreation Commission would be the first go-to.
So that's the direction we would send anyone who is interested in future public art projects to go to Parks and Rec, and then they would.
And if there was some other kind of larger project like we did like for Primrose, where we're talking about integrating it into a broader design of a project, where the council would be getting, as the council did get incorporate with that project.
All right, good information to have. All right, any other questions at this time by council? Hearing none, I will open up the public hearing. Anyone in the audience wish to speak on this matter? Seeing none, I will close public comment and entertain any final questions or comments by council. Anyone?
Paul?
Yes, go ahead, Cynthia.
How do we get funding into that pot of money of the $76,000? Do we charge any public art fee for developers?
We do not. That fund that is usually negotiated through development agreements. Those are the remaining funds from prior development agreements. There is no public art fee that's assessed to development right now.
I think the last one may have been the project on Lower Azusa?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was negotiated.
Yeah, that was a negotiated fee.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Councilmember Mann?
Well, I just wanted to thank Susan for her years of service here. What I do appreciate about the way you and your staff put together the budget for us is you make it very easy to digest. So in some ways we're spoiled. So if someone comes back and tries to get really technical and complex with us, we might get lost. But I say that because when we received the ARPA money, the American Rescue Plan Act, and even recently when you kind of showed us what was the best practice to make sure that we use every single cent of it, to me that was an example of something that was very complex mechanically but was explained in a very clear and concise way so that, at least from the policy-making standpoint, it's easy for us to understand, okay, this is what we're trying to do, and it makes sense, and that's the best way to do it. And also, just appreciate the clarity on how you outline, excuse me, capital projects, the thought you put into sort of the multi-year thought process, even though we know it's very difficult to predict the future, obviously. But you do, tell us all your assumptions, what they're based off of, and that at least gives us a reference point to work off of, right, year by year. So thank you. I'm going to miss you a lot. So I do wish you the best and hope that you have some time in the future to come visit us.
Okay, thank you. Any other further final comments or questions by council? Go ahead, Mayor Pro Tem Yu.
Mayor, thank you. And I want to echo what Councilmember Mann has said. First of all, thank you, Mr. Cook, and all the department heads and everybody for putting together such a great budget. I mean, people comment how great Temple City is, but we really cannot govern the city without a good budget. But of that, obviously, a great credit needs to go to our Director Pargas here, and we certainly will miss your service and your professionalism and transparency. The mayor and I serve on the audit committee, so there's one extra layer of interaction with Director Pargas, and I will always, at least I'm always amazed how easy it is for you to put together the accounting and budgeting concepts, and we really appreciate your great work and wish you the very best.
All right. Thank you. Cynthia, any last words?
Yes, I will miss Susan. Susan, good luck on your future endeavors, and you always have a home here in Temple City.
Okay, thank you.
Because I'll add to this. I'm extremely lucky to have had, I thank you for the hour, or seems to be, it was a longer than 1 hour onboarding when you kind of walked me through the city budgets and the processes. I certainly learned a lot in that short amount of time. You're going to be greatly missed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, guys. I can't remember last time a budget session has turned into a big hug session, but it's kind of cool, actually, for a change, isn't it? We usually talk about numbers and things like that, but to echo my fellow council members, yes, Susan, you've always made this an easy process, and I know that's not an easy thing to do. You've always been able to explain things in an understandable way, no question about that. And as Mayor Pro Tem Yu said, serving on the audit committee now for quite a while, we also get an additional view of things and how you do things, and not only that, but how you are with your staff. And I know the staff certainly appreciates everything that you do and how you work and your demeanor and everything else. So you got big shoes to fill, but we understand that. But again, we all wish you the best, and I think we're still going to have a going away party at some point. But
we will.
Yeah. So, but thank you so much, and we'll save our speeches for then as well. So thank you. Okay, with that, I think we're ready for a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
yes.
I move that we adopt resolution number 24-5753, approving the budget and appropriations for the City of Temple City for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2024 and ending June 30th, 2025. And no amendments.
Amend is necessary.
And amend is necessary, but we didn't amend, so.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll second.
We got a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, if we got a roll call, please.
Councilmember Chen?
Yes.
Councilmember Mann?
Yes.
Councilmember Sternquist?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Yu?
Yes.
Mayor Chavez?
Yes. Okay, that motion is approved unanimously. We will now move on to item D, adoption of resolution number 24-5754, adopting the annual appropriations limit for fiscal year 2024-2025.
Thank you, Mayor Chavez and members of the council. I'll use Mayor Chavez's favorite word. This is a perfunctory action of the council. Per state law, we are required to do the calculation of the annual appropriations limit. We are well under that amount. I'll miss Susan. When I was a finance director, I actually had to hire someone to help me do that, the GAN limit calculation. Susan actually does it herself. So we're well within that. So we comply with state law in terms of our actual appropriations limit. So with that, we ask for your approval.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any council questions? Seeing none, open up public hearing. Any questions from the, anyone from the audience wish to comment on this matter? Seeing none, I will close public comment. Any final questions or comments from council? Hearing none,
No.
go ahead, Cynthia. Did you have?
No, I said no.
Oh, okay, thank you. Can we have a motion then?
Mayor Chavez, I'll move that we adopt resolution number 24-5754, adopting the annual appropriations limit for fiscal year 2024-2025.
Okay. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Chin?
Yes.
Councilmember Mann?
Yes.
Councilmember Sternquist?
Yes?
Mayor Pro Tem Yu?
Yes.
Mayor Chavez?
Yes. Okay, that motion is approved. We will now move on to item number 9, unfinished business. There is none. New business, there is none. Update from our city manager, Mr. Cook.
Thank you, Mayor Chavez and members of the council. A few quick things. Again, as I mentioned earlier, there are several items that were on the consent calendar related to Las Tunas. I need to thank the executive lead, staff-wise, Scott Reimers, who's leading this effort and keeping everybody on task. And actually, we are below budget as well. So everybody's doing a great job. In the next about 3 to 4 months, you're going to see a significant transformation of Las Tunas. So the grant application opens up on the 24th. We're ready for that. The portal will be open for people to apply. Information is both in English and in Mandarin. And so if that information is out there. Thank you to the public as well. We have been doing a lot of streets repaving throughout the community in the last about 4 or 5 weeks. We are about 90% complete at this point in time. We'll be doing some quality checks of several streets as well. You may see some markings on the street. Most of those are manhole covers that we have to go back and then they have to repave. Some of the cutouts you see are traffic loops that we have to adjust, but we should be done relatively soon, and we'll be coming back to the standing committee of Councilmember Mann and Mayor Pro Tem Yu to talk about our next project that you just or funding which you just adopted. Again, our goal will be trying to finish as many, even though we won't be able to complete all, residential streets that are in poor to very poor condition, and we're doing our best to do that. Neighborhood Watch is this Thursday at Live Oak Park. While it's one area, it is open to all. Come for dinner, tacos, enjoy our presentation by our dedicated deputies, and some of our CERT team members will be there as well to assist the community. Lastly, on the consent calendar was the 5-year agreement with the LA County Sheriff's Department and the County of Los Angeles. I need to thank my colleagues throughout the county who I've worked with for the last several months. And then I'd like to thank my colleague, Mr. Murphy, who provided me with some help in terms of issues related specifically to Temple City. It was a long effort, but and a long process that we will continue to move forward with in dealing with the liability issues with the County of Los Angeles and the LA County Sheriff's Department. So,
and compost Saturday.
Thank you, Mayor Chavez. And this Saturday, starting at 8 a.m., compost giveaway at Live Oak Park.
How long has it been since we've done that, Ed?
2021, correct? Yes, it's been several years.
Yeah.
So we're happy with our partners, Athens, to provide this service again, anticipating a big crowd, so we'll have a good amount of traffic control out there. Just be patient.
Bring some old shoes.
Bring some old shoes.
And,
You don't want
and
new shoes on.
containers.
And containers, yeah, make sure you
Yeah.
bring containers.
And just, we ask for the public's patience because we are anticipating a pretty large crowd.
Yeah, I can imagine. Okay, well,
Thank
thank you
you.
very much for that. Update from our city attorney, Mr. Murphy.
Very briefly, possibly before the end of the week, but certainly within the next 10 days, we expect the California Supreme Court to issue its ruling as to whether the California Business Roundtable Taxpayer Protection Initiative will be on the ballot or not. Per a previous briefing, if adopted, it would significantly alter the manner in which fees as well as taxes were assessed or were set. So we'll see which way they go on it. Courts generally like to leave things up to the voters and then deal with them afterwards. But the fact that the court took the case and then said that it would be issuing a ruling prior to the cutoff date for preparing ballot materials for the fall has given cities some hope that the court realizes that the matter would be quite difficult to fight after the fact. So it does not look like it will have a huge impact on Temple City retrospectively, no matter which way it goes, but it would certainly alter the way, as I said, that we would bring fees and other charges and taxes to the council in the future. So keep an eye out for it, and we'll talk about it in July. Thank you.
And just real quickly, I know that you've commented on this before, and I think maybe Scott has too, this notion that cities can approve the sale of ADUs. I know that was in the news last week, the first city, San Jose, or?
Yeah, San Jose, yeah.
San Jose.
A city in
passed the first
in that
ordinance
county,
that
certainly, yeah.
allows the separate sale of ADUs from the main house.
Correct. Correct.
If I recall, that's up to the discretion of each individual city, I believe.
It is. The law allowed, yes, the law allows it to be up to the discretion of each city. It is primarily, in my mind, primarily important in cases of multifamily ADUs where you have a condo situation and, for example, the HOA wants to make use of underutilized space by creating an ADU that serves as another unit, and rather than leasing that out, they can then sell it. It does apply, if you want it to an ADU on a single-family parcel or a duplex parcel. Not something we've seen in too many cities with a lot of single-family zoning, but it'll be interesting to watch what they do.
Yeah, that's a good point. I never thought of that, because it doesn't really play itself too well in the single-family
No.
kind of dwellings.
No.
So,
And as,
well, more to prove, more to see. I could envision maybe at some point the state forcing that down upon us at some point.
It would be interesting. The director and I talked, and I've talked with other people in the planning realm, and they've said, okay, well, fine if you want to sell it, but wouldn't it create some kind of need for a condo map or some shared open
Well, yeah, there'd have to
space?
be
You share
some type of,
utilities and a lot
Right.
of
And how are you going to
issues.
transfer title? There'd have to be some
Right.
subdivision
So
of the property or
exactly,
something.
and the bill doesn't go into any of that. It just says you can allow it. Sort of, you can allow it, figure it out.
Yeah, well, typical. Okay. All right, thank you very much for that report. We will now move on to item 13, council reports regarding ad hoc or standing committee meetings. Have there been any since the last meeting? I don't know. I don't think we've had any meetings, have we? Anybody? Okay, so we will now move on to item 14, council items separate from the city manager's regular agenda. We'll start with Councilmember Chen. Anything else would you like to add?
I don't have anything to report.
Thank you. No,
Thank
no
you.
baseball scores or anything like that?
And no.
Your son win
No,
tonight,
sir.
or we don't know yet?
Second game just started. But
Oh, okay. Second game?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Councilmember Mann.
Well, I was in Alaska for a week, so I don't really have much to.
You can tell us about Alaska.
It was very,
Cold?
very nice.
Yeah.
No, it was cold, but every tour guide we came across said we were lucky because it usually rains and snows, and it's cloudy. And when we were there, it was clear skies and sun.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
So
Nice.
I guess you don't truly know the magnitude of that because it's your first time there, so you kind of take it for
Early
granted
for
that
Alaska.
this is what Alaska must be like all the time, right? And they said, nope, it's
Well, you got lucky.
yeah, we got lucky. But other than that, it was a great time, and
Good.
my family enjoyed it.
Well, good. We're glad to have you back safely.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. I know you weren't feeling well before you left either, so hopefully you were feeling better by the time you left.
Yeah, well, I mean, I won't get into that.
No,
but-
we don't want you to go into details. But you
Yeah.
look better. You look like you're feeling better.
Yeah, much
Good.
better. Thank you.
All right, Mayor Pro Tem, you?
Nothing to add, Mr.
right,
Mayor.
thank you.
Thank you.
Well, there's been a lot going on in the city,
Hey,
actually.
How about Cindy?
Huh?
Cindy.
Oh, that's right. Cindy, you're right in front of me, and I forgot all about you. How could I do that? Go ahead,
That's
Cynthia.
okay.
Yes.
Nothing other than I really appreciate the opportunity that to be able to have a situation like mine with where I'm not able to walk very well. With what is the law, Greg, that was passed for this, but I can definitely see its worth now.
Assembly Bill 2449, and we're glad to have you here too.
Well, thank you. So I very much appreciate that opportunity, and I know that everyone on our council, works hard and diligently. So I appreciate having the opportunity to do it remotely. So thank you.
And we want to thank you for doing that, too. It's not always easy, so thank you. Okay. Let's see. I want to thank Director Matsumoto for our grand opening of our park and his staff. It was a fun event. You missed that last week, but it was interesting. It started, I thought it was going to be like kind of a small, then all of a sudden it grew and grew and grew, and all of a sudden we were surrounded by all these kids who couldn't wait to get on the stuff. And as soon as we cut the ribbon, they all rushed, and the playground was just crowded. They were having a great time. It was just a nice event, and streamers, everything. As always, Parks and Rec did a great job, and kudos to all of you and your staff, of course, for organizing that. And that combined, of course, with our first concert in the park, it was a great evening. So thanks everybody who was a part of that. We look forward, of course, to Live Oak. That's the next big project. I want to give a shout out to Ileana Flores for helping me do the little, I don't know what you would call it, the infomercial or whatever it is that's online.
Infomercial works.
Infomercial works regarding the Las Tunas project. We went out and shot that out on the boulevard last week, which was a lot of fun, and people are getting excited about that as well. And so look forward to that project. We have a lot of things going on this year and a lot of fun things that are going on. And I think the city is very enthusiastic about it. I've been getting a lot of questions, as I'm sure many of you are, about all these projects. And it's nice to see that people are looking forward to it. I'm going to be speaking at the Women's Historical Society in a couple of weeks, and they asked me to present what's going on in the city. And of course, they gave me a half hour. I don't know that I can cover everything that's going on in the city in a half hour, but I'll try. But it's a lot of stuff, good stuff. And so thanks to Brian and, of course, everyone at City Hall. And I know they're looking forward to the HC units that we approved tonight, especially with the summertime coming. If you've been in the building, it's getting warm in there, at least in certain parts. But hopefully that'll turn around soon. So, okay. With that, we will move on to item 15. Any additional public comments? Anyone else wish to share their thoughts? Jerry?
Can I just make a short comment?
Yes, go ahead. Speak loud so we can hear you.
The first compost giveaway was 2011.
2011 was the first one.
Yeah.
Wow.
When was the last one? 2021? Ed, do you remember when we did it, the last one? You were gone by that time, but I can remember when Ed was out there shoveling.
You were the first one.
And he used to bring burritos all the time. I don't know. We'll have to see if they have burritos there this time. But, it's one of those events, and I'm glad you brought it up, that brings the community together. I would say I think they have to don't they have to show proof of residence to get the compost? So it's really a community event. and people are real excited about it. And I'll tell you, you have to get there early because the line's going to be around the park if past history shows. And of course, I always shared, if you guys remember, I shared the funniest story. I think you were there when the lady wanted us to put the compost in her trunk. And we were a little worried until she told us it was a rental. So, you know, but that's, you know, hopefully we'll get some more stories like that this year. You never know, but it's a fun thing. Okay, well, with that, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.